Good morning, Northern New Mexico. You're listening to Live at Northern, your community radio show from Northern New Mexico College. I'm your host, Stephanie Montoya, and whether you're just tuning in or are a returning listener, we just wanted to let our listeners know our program is on every alternating Wednesday from 9:05 to 9:50 a.m. This is our time to share what's new at Northern, celebrate our students, faculty, and staff, and help the community get to know your local college. I hope everyone had a happy holidays and a happy new year. This is our first show of 2020, and we're ringing in the new year with some celebrations. First, I want to give a shout out to Northern's facilities team, especially Eliseo Romero and Eric Casados for creating a float that won Best in Show and first place in the nonprofit category during the 2019 Espanola Light Parade. The team worked on the float since Thanksgiving, which included moving parts, lights, projection, and hand-painted details to fit the theme Christmas at the movies. If you got a chance to see that, it was definitely an impressive sight to see. We had our students out there. We had Iggy Eagle out there. And we gave some information out about, our students gave some information out about the census coming up. And if you haven't seen it, we do have pictures on our Facebook. We also want to thank everyone who donated to Northern's Holiday Giving Tree. We were able to provide 63 children from the Northern community with much needed clothing, toys, diapers, and supplies. So thank you. I also wanted to take the time to share some highlights from the past year because we did accomplish a lot as a college and in the community. And so the first one was, of course, the passage of our branch community college legislation, which allowed us to partner with Espanola, Poake, Mesa Vista, Chama, and Jemez Mountain school districts. And of course, thank you again to our community members for the passage of our 2-mill levy ballot initiative to bring trades education back to Northern New Mexico. That was passed by over 62% of the voters, so thank you. Northern has also seen a dramatic increase in women enrolled in STEM programs, not including nursing. In the fall semester of 2016, 38% of STEM majors were women, and this past year, 2019, 46% were women, and that is one of the highest proportions of any college in the state of women majoring in STEM. And Northern also partnered with Kit Carson Electric Cooperative and Guzman Energy to construct a 1.5 megawatt solar array on our El Rito campus, moving the college and KCEC membership in communities west of the Rio Grande toward achieving 100% daytime solar. And that project has now been completed and the solar array is up. And after 2 years of intensive student financial aid literacy education by Northern's Financial Aid Office, student loan default rates have decreased from 26% to 11.2%. So that's a really good sign for students being able to afford college and not having those high student loan default rates. And Northern New Mexico College still has the third lowest average student graduate debt of any college in the U.S., according to the U.S. Department of Education. And finally, for the third year in a row, Northern's High School Equivalency Program, or HEP, has ranked among the top 3 performers in the U.S., according to a report from the U.S. Department of Education. So a lot to celebrate looking back at the past year, and a lot more to celebrate, I'm sure, as we move forward now into 2020. And today we are excited to share with you some information about upcoming community events and the great work being done at Northern to create communities, support our students, and celebrate the legacy of one of the most important civil rights leaders, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we will also be sharing how the CASSA Student Success Program at Northern is serving students in our area. Finally, we will have our always anticipated giveaway at the end of the show, including Eagles basketball tickets and Northern gear, so stay tuned. But before we dive into our other topics, a quick update on athletics. Both the men's and ladies teams have been on the road quite a bit recently, going up against Haskell and College of the Ozarks in Kansas, Morris and Voorhees College in South Carolina, and Park University in Arizona this Friday and Saturday. All close games. The Eagles will return home January 24th and 25th to go up against Sagu American Indian College at 7 p.m. in the Eagle Gym. The Lady Eagles return to Espanola February 7th to go up against Park University Gilbert at 5 p.m. And listeners, you'll have the chance to catch the next home game or two if you win our giveaway here at the end of the hour. We'll have some trivia questions based on today's topics, so keep your ears open and stay tuned. And we wish all of our Northern student athletes and athletic staff safe travels and best of luck as they compete during these next couple of weeks. Well, if you are a student or work for one of the many workplaces scheduled to be closed this coming Monday for Martin Luther King Day, I'm sure you are looking forward to not having to go to work or class. I know I do, but how many of us have really thought about why Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a national holiday? Today, my guests will share some information about how you can make Martin Luther King Day 2020 a day on rather than a day off. Joining me this morning is Director of Northern's Office of Equity and Diversity and Tenure Professor Dr. Patricio Trujillo and Facilitator of Northern's Black and African American Student Organization, or BASO, and Community Organizer Willie Williams. Joining me also are two student board members from the organization, DJ and DeAndre Curtis. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Trujillo, I'll start with you since I know new student orientation is also happening on our campus this morning. We're welcoming all of our new students, and you have to facilitate a workshop. But for our listeners, can you tell us about yourself in the Office of Equity and Diversity?
Sure. It's also really exciting to be here this morning, Stephanie, because there are so many wonderful things happening at Northern that's exciting to hear. I am the director of the Office of Equity and Diversity at Northern. And what we do at the office, we organize around three different main pillars. One is critical education. So that idea that oftentimes for women, for people of color, for marginalized people, LGBTQIA community, a lot of our stories have not been centered in what are taught in classrooms. So at the college level, we create interventions, right? So we have ethnic studies, we teach Chicano studies. Northern has a really beautiful program in Pueblo Indian studies. So we want to make sure and have those educational opportunities available for our students so that we see ourselves reflected in the curriculum. The second pillar is beloved community, and this is directly a quote and an idea that Dr. King forwarded, is that when we live in beloved community, it means that we take care of everybody in our community, the most vulnerable, to fight against the three, what he identified as the three major challenges to community, which are poverty, racism, and militarism. And of course, we think of the context that Dr. King was organizing in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, right in the heat of the civil rights movement. But always remembering that when we fight, it's because it's about this sense of belovedness, that it's because we care for one another. And then finally, we have social justice. And social justice is how we do this work. It's how we put our theories into action. So when we see things happening in our community, how do we organize to help create change in positive directions to support everybody who is in our community? And so that's why we're really excited about being the organizers for what we understand is the first Dr. King celebration at Northern New Mexico College. There has been a community-wide celebration that has really been championed by Edith Brown, who is going to be recognized at our breakfast for about the last 15 years. But it is the first time that Northern is having what many other campuses across the nation have, which is the prayer breakfast. So bringing community leaders together to first of all, celebrate the legacy of Dr. King, but also for us to eat and break bread with one another and to be in beloved community with each other.
And I think you answered a lot of my questions there at once, so you're very thorough. Thank you so much. And, just basically reemphasizing, I know some people might hear the term equity and diversity and not really understand what that means, but, I think really it comes down to, as you said, building beloved community, and that's certainly something that your office and other organizations at Northern are doing. And our listeners should know that one of the big initiatives this school year was supporting student organizations that represent the diverse needs and interests of students on campus. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So one of the things that happens oftentimes when we think about the term diversity, it literally means difference, and we want to celebrate difference. But a lot of times we stay at the surface level with that. So oftentimes at institutions or at different organizing events, we think because there are brown and black bodies in the room, we've done our work. But institutionally, we haven't, unless we're meeting the needs of students and people of color. Like I was saying before, by having reflections of those constituencies in our curriculum, in terms of how what our staff and faculty looks like, who's making the decisions, because then we have to look at the systemic issues that we have historically as groups of people. And then equity is like the piece that people often also confuse with equality. The goal in the grand scheme of things is equality, is that everybody is treated the same, right? So a lot of times people interpret Dr. King's work to say, there's that famous line that we should be judged by the content of our character, not by the color of our skin. But what we have to recognize at times is that the way we get there is through equity work. Equity is not the sameness for everybody, because it recognizes that people have had different challenges, different obstacles, different histories with oppression that we have to address. And if we don't, we can't start at sameness for everybody. What we have to fight for, and this is equity, is fairness and justice. And so when we talk about the work that we do in the office, it's really around these issues. And so the work with BASO, and we're going to hear soon very much from the people who are making it happen, is as the Director of Equity and Diversity, I interact with a lot of students and hear a lot of different, successes and celebrations, but often I hear some concerns. And unfortunately, over the years, in the last 2 years specifically, students have come to talk to me about how, unfortunately, they're being racially profiled in the community. So in particular, Black and African American students talking to me about being followed around the store or being treated differently by security in different places. Unfortunately, we've had some students have incidents, for instance, of jogging in town, training for the team, and having, vehicles stop or slow down, roll down their window, and yell racial epitaphs at them. And so part of also organizing the Black and African American student organization is about creating what we call brave spaces where we can address these issues, but also to create a place of belonging where if we are having these issues, how do we address them meaningfully? And so I believe that Northern should and can be a leader in our community to really frame a lot of these dialogues, these difficult dialogues about getting real, about being an anti-racist community. And so we hope that people will come out to the breakfast to hear more about how we can do that work, again, in beloved community, to make sure that everybody who lives here, who studies here, feels safe and feels like they belong here.
So it definitely sounds like, the establishment of this new student organization, BASO, is really in response to the need to create that beloved community and, have inclusiveness, awareness, and equity in our community. And so I wanted to move to you, Ms. Williams, as the staff leader of the Black and African American Student Organization. Can you tell the listeners about yourself, your experience, and why BASO is important in our community?
Good morning. First of all, I was born in 1958, so I have quite a few decades of experience. I was around the Martin Luther King era. I was around the Civil Rights Movement. I was around when Martin Luther King holiday was designated as a national holiday. One of the things I had a student here. His name was Edward Fields. He went to Northern. He was an 2010 All-American from Northern. And he said, "Mom, this is a good place to raise your children." And I had 6 boys. So I wanted to bring them to a place where I felt that they would be treated fairly, they would be educated fairly, and they would be employed fairly. So far, so good in so many aspects. But as they went to Northern, I wanted to be more involved in their college education. And as Dr. Truehill brought the idea, and I have been at her office frequently trying to find something to do, and she said, "Okay, let's do this. Let's start a Black and African American student organization." And we got busy. And our first big event, cultural celebratory, which will include community, family, and school, and a part of the social movement here, social for cultural awareness and education, will be our Martin Luther King Day celebration. But what a better way to talk about it than let the youth who are performing it talk about it than myself. So if you don't mind, can they?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's turn it
Thank
over
you.
to the students. We've got a couple of student board members with us, board members of BASO. We have DJ Curtis and DeAndre Curtis. Why don't you introduce yourselves to our listeners and tell them what you're studying and how you came to Northern?
Hey, I'm DeAndre Curtis. I'm a film and digital media arts major at Northern New Mexico College. I came to the program through the film program at the high school with Ellen Kuiper. And BASO means a lot to me. It's significant because it's the first platform that we're using to bring African American awareness to a city that's culture and family-based oriented.
Wonderful.
Hello, my name is DJ Curtis, and I'm an integrated studies and humanities major at Northern New Mexico College. And BASO basically means the world to me. I get to put our culture and our religion and our values on a broader scale for an area that kind of really needs it. So we're going to move forward with this and hopefully have everyone's support behind us.
Wonderful. And Dr. Trujillo alluded to this a little bit, and I know that this can be a sensitive question, but because it is so important for our community to be aware, what do you think are some of the challenges that students of color and people of color in general face in our community?
Well, the biggest thing that they would face in our community is oppression. A lot of people don't understand that racism was under a century ago. We still, as you know, my grandmother was alive during the time. We still have people that were living during those times. So for people of color to come to somewhere where it's not really seen or known, people who don't know, they typically will assume or judge before they want to find out. And we're kind of here to erase that. We want people to feel beloved. We want it to be an open, anti-racial community.
Mm-hmm. Well, I definitely see that work is being done, and a big piece of evidence of that is the big Martin Luther King legacy celebration that is happening this coming Monday, the 20th, here at Northern New Mexico College in the Center for the Arts. And so if we could just share a little bit more details about the event itself.
Sure. So we've been working fast and furious now in the beginning of the new year to pull this all together. The Dr. King Legacy Breakfast is going to be at the Northern New Mexico College Center for the Fine Arts. It starts at 10 o'clock and will last till 1:15. From 10 to 11:30, pardon me, we'll be serving breakfast. We have a full menu, and that is free and open to the public. During that time, we will have different clergy members, keynote speaker Carlin Pinkins, who is a doctoral candidate in history at UNM, coming to speak to us about the importance of African Americans in New Mexico history. And also we'll have representatives from city, county, state, and national political offices. And so it's also really a time for constituents to come and speak to their political leaders. What are our concerns? Because part of equity and diversity is also how we set the agenda. And so using this as a day on, not a day off, we definitely want to let our voices be known that this work of anti-racism is something that we want to be a priority for all of our leaders, and that the Office of Equity and Diversity, Northern New Mexico College, BASO, will help with that, right? So if it takes research, if it takes, legwork, we're here to make that happen because we really believe in this concept of beloved community for all.
And I wanted to give just one more shout out to Edith Brown, because really she's the one who kind of started this all off in our area with, these gatherings in honor of Martin Luther King, and also doing other work such as establishing Martin Luther King Day as a official holiday on the public school calendar, which it wasn't previously. And then she approached Northern earlier this year with, wanting to hand this to the larger community to come together. And I think the community has really responded to that call. And so we have a long list of organizations that are sponsoring, that are contributing, that are exhibiting. And so I was wondering if you could just maybe give us a list of some of the contributors to our program here.
Okay, we'll start with the Office of African American Affairs out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the Martin Luther King Commission, who awarded us a grant to do the celebration out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have, of course, the Office of Equity and Diversity. We have Pathway Shelter. We have Moving Arts of New Mexico. We have the Census. Did I say the Census?
Not yet.
Oh, we have a big part of this is the census. We have voter registration. We have TIWA. TAWA.
TAWA Women United.
Yes. We have the AC, American Civil Liberties Union.
We have the Northern Rio Grande National Heritage Area.
Yes. We have I hope we didn't leave out any. If we did, you'll see them there. This is the King's Walk. This is the informational part of the King's Journey. What this will be, at each table, they will have a significant part of Martin Luther King's life that their organization or that they believe in to assist in, the cultural and educational part of this journey.
So this is a multi-part event, but it's all kind of wrapped up into one big celebration. But I know, the first part is the prayer breakfast. And because this is a new idea to many people in this community, I was wondering if you could just explain what a prayer breakfast is.
Of course I can. In the African American community, and all communities, we have a national prayer breakfast, which is the first Thursday in February. But we also have community prayer breakfasts. We have celebratory prayer breakfasts. Ours will be a celebratory prayer breakfast, which means that the community leaders, the religious leaders, the organizational leaders, we all come together just to celebrate our faith, our views. We come together, as Dr. Truehill says, to break bread. The best way to talk and get things done is over food. And we expect for the community, we hope, no, we don't expect, we anticipate that the community will join us in this event.
Now, I know this kind of started out like, we had ideas, brainstorming, how this event was going to come together. And now, I think we're expecting a pretty good crowd, I hope. And so we've got lots of tables of exhibitors. We're going to have entertainment provided by Moving Arts.
Yes.
And Dr. Trujillo, I was hoping that you could just elaborate a little bit more on the keynote lecture about New Mexico history, because I really think that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really fortunate to have Carlin Pinkins, who is a young woman who's a PhD candidate in history at UNM. She's doing some really interesting, she's about to get started on her research and to write her dissertation, and she's looking at a location in New Mexico called Blackdom, New Mexico. It was after World War I believe. Several families from Georgia literally walked from Georgia to around the Portales area in New Mexico to create what was called the Freedom City, right? So trying to essentially establish an all-black community, because at that time in the United States, it's late Reconstruction. There's this sense of that African Americans have been freed from slavery, but the Reconstruction era has not allowed for all of the gains that were promised, right? So that idea of like what the multiple definitions of freedom. And so during that time, a lot of these types of cities were popping up all over the country. The most famous is probably in Eatonville, Florida, made well known by Zora Neale Hurston's writings. And so these families come to New Mexico, establish a town that apparently thrives for generations. Oftentimes in our own New Mexico history classes, we don't hear about this town. And then there's almost like this sense of mythology that it kind of like just poof, disappeared. But we know that that's not how things happen. And so Carlin, who is our keynote speaker, the soon-to-be Dr. Pinkins, is going to be writing about what happened to these families. And so she's in the archives and tracing their genealogies. Oftentimes people say that the town disappeared during the Depression, but what she's found are a lot of documents that show men who are enlisting in World War II still listing their address as Blackdom, New Mexico. So if anybody's really interested in the liberal arts, this is the really cool kind of historical detective work you get to do. So now she's in the process of finding those documents, but also hopefully finding descendants that she can do oral histories with. And so she's going to talk to us about that work and more. She's also involved with the soon-to-be African American History Museum in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that idea that that African presence in New Mexico has always been a part of our history, but it's one of those really erased or ignored aspects. And so she's going to also talk to us about what it means to be an African American historian in New Mexico and the wonderful richness of African American history here.
So there's definitely something for everyone at this event, whether you're interested in the history, whether you're interested in learning more about our community, especially, Black and African American members of our community, the history here in New Mexico, resources for engaging the community, and also entertainment, food, and family-friendly activities.
And also, I just wanted to add, I keep getting the question because our name is Black and African American Student Organization, and people keep saying that seems repetitious. Like, why do you say both? And I just wanted to let people know why. Is at Northern, we also have Black students who are international, so they might be from Jamaica or Brazil or from other countries who don't identify with the African American experience, but who are Black, who identify as Black. And so just that nuance, right, of understanding that just like Latinos, some of us call ourselves Hispanic, some of us call ourselves Latinos, Hispanos, Chicanos, is that there's that same kind of spectrum within the African and Black community, African American and Black community.
And I love that, too. That's a good way. But before I forget, we have a guest from St. Louis, Missouri, Dr. Frederick J. McCullough, who's going to come and ingratiate us with his presence. I called, he answered quickly and said he would love to come. So he'll be here, and I know he will enjoy New Mexico.
Wonderful. And I wanted to just turn it back to the students for just a minute to just share why you think people should come out and support this event.
Well, we're starting off on a pretty smaller scale right now, but hopefully we want support from all over our community, from all over our state, so we can expand and become a national thing. We don't want Basso just to be in Espanola, New Mexico. We want Basso to be in D.C. We want Basso to be in Philadelphia. We want Basso to be in New York. We want Basso to be a very expanded thing so that not only will certain areas get the education and information needed, all areas will get the education and information needed.
Well, you students are definitely leading the charge in doing that work, and we have a very robust and diverse community at Northern of both our international students, students from other places in the country, and students from different backgrounds right from here in New Mexico. So it's really great how that all comes together at the college, and it's appropriate that Northern is kind of taking the lead on this event because, we really are a community-based organization serving our community with education and success.
Please join us.
And I want to say thank you, Stephanie Montoya. You have ran an excellent media campaign. You have been there coming through, and just wait till you see our shirts.
Oh, thank you so much for that shout out. And yeah, we are going to have some shirts for sale at the event that, have an image of Dr. Martin Luther King and have our sponsors on the back, our many sponsors. And so those will actually be for sale as a fundraiser for Basso. So if you want to support Basso and our students and our event and the good work that we're doing, then please come out to the event. Enjoy the free breakfast, free entertainment, but, you can go ahead and purchase one of those limited edition event shirts and support the organization. I know we can probably talk about this all day, but I just want to give the information one more time. The event, which is the Martin Luther King Day Legacy Celebration, takes place Monday, January 20th at the Center for the Arts on Northern's campus. The complimentary prayer breakfast starts at 10 a.m., and the main program starts at noon. This event is free and open to the public, family-friendly, and will include exhibitors for community resources, entertainment by Moving Arts Espanola, a talk about Black history in New Mexico, and a great opportunity to support our students and community members. If you can, we ask that you RSVP via our Facebook page at facebook.com/Northern New Mexico College, or find us on Eventbrite and RSVP there. That'll just really help us with some of the preparation and preparing for everybody who's going to be there.
One more thing. Shout out to Roger Montoya and Moving Arts. We have a program for you guys from 12 to 1 p.m. And I don't know, I will have my books there too. Can I shout out my books?
Sure.
It's about single Black motherhood raising 6 African American males. It's on sale at Amazon.com. It's entitled Why Shouldn't I? It's a mixture of a whole lot there. And Dr. Trujillo, I have to send the biggest shout out to you.
Absolutely.
You're wonderful. Thank you for believing. Thank you for pursuing.
I believe in you, and I believe in the students, and I believe in our beloved community.
Beloved community.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Patricia Trujillo, Miss Willie Williams, and students DJ and DeAndre Curtis.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So if you're off that day, I know that many people are, and, students should be out of school. It's something for you to be able to really fill your day with meaning of what the importance really is of this holiday, and it's free and it's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of fun as well. So make sure that you come out to that. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Speaking of supporting students, there is another program at Northern that many of you may not have heard of. And that is our CASSA Title V program. And joining me today is CASSA Program Director Christy Alton. Good morning.
Good morning, Stephanie.
Well, our listeners may not have heard of the Title V or CASSA program, so can you tell everyone about yourself and about the program?
Oh, I'd love to. Me personally, I have over 15 years experience working in education at the K-12 level, 2 years, actually over 2 years in higher education. I've also worked for both federal and state level grants for over 5 years, and I've been working with Northern since September 2018. A little bit about Title V. Title V is a federally funded grant program that was created in 1998 to assist higher education institutions expand educational opportunities for and improve the attainment of education for Hispanic students. Northern's Title V grant is called CASSA, and CASSA is an acronym that stands for Connecting Academics with Student Success and Achievement. And the goals of our grant are outreach. We want to reach out to the communities, the surrounding communities, and let them know the programs, the academic programs that we offer. We also are focusing on retention. Once we have students at Northern, we want to keep them there through graduation, which would be our final goal, is to get our students graduated.
So when did your grant come to Northern?
We are in year 2, so it started last year, October 2018.
Wonderful. And so who exactly does your program serve, and why is that important?
Our Title V Title V specifically serves Hispanic and low-income students. That's the focus, the demographic focus for Title V grants federally. However, the programs that we offer through Northern's Title V grant support all of Northern students. So all of the programs that we're putting into place support every student that attends Northern New Mexico College. The program is important to all of our students because it provides them with access and support as they pursue their degrees at our school.
And what do you see are some of the main challenges that students in our area face in pursuing or continuing higher education?
I think the challenges that our students face, and not just the students here in this region, but in New Mexico generally, are financial insecurities. Some come with inadequate academic preparation, and they don't have a strong support network. And CASSA really addresses almost all of those issues by supporting students academically through some of our programs, and creating an environment where they feel valued and connected not only to other students but to faculty and staff, and that helps them stay in school and graduate.
So I know that your program provides a number of really key services, and so I was wondering if you could just share with our listeners what some of those services are.
I'd love to. Okay, so we do have some robust programming through Title V. Some of our, support network type programming is that we have a behavioral health counselor on campus every week. His name is Adam Baca, and he is available on Mondays from 8 a.m. to noon, and every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 o'clock to 4:30. He's located in the Teacher Education Center in Office 213, which is upstairs, and he can be reached by email at adam.baca@nnmc.edu, or you can reach him by phone at 747-5064. And he's just there if you need anybody to listen to you. If you're having struggles, he's a great resource.
And I know that Mr. Bach is really great about finding other resources in the community as well to refer students or provide them, if there's something that we don't have right there at Northern that they need for themselves or a family member, and that's all sponsored through the Title V grant. So thank you for bringing that to our campus.
Yeah, I'd like to mention that, yes, Adam is very knowledgeable about resources in the area, and his counseling services on our campus are completely free to all students, and anything that you talk about is completely confidential. So that's kind of our support services. We also offer academic services through peer tutoring, embedded tutoring, and peer advising. Peer tutoring services are exactly what it sounds like, students tutoring other students. And that happens at the library on campus in the Madrid Center. And if you're not familiar with the Madrid Center in the library, if you use the northwest entrance to the library, it's directly to your right. Just turn to your right, and there is our tutoring center, and it's outfitted with 15 computers. We have 7 student tutors that can help you with various subjects that include business administration, business math. We can help with math on Fridays when the Math Learning Center isn't open. We also have help for drafting, engineering, computer programming, Spanish, biology, chemistry, digital video production. So we have the gamut of resources there, and we can be reached by walk-in. So we're available Monday through Thursday from 12 noon to 6 o'clock in the evening, and on Fridays from noon to 4. You can come in, just walk-ins are available, or you can email me at eagles.tutoring@nnmc.edu. Embedded tutoring is a different kind of tutoring program where we have tutors in the classroom, and there's a variety of courses that we offer that for, mainly math, engineering, and some in the arts. And then we have peer advisors and a few programs, and they're just like the peer tutoring, it's students that are helping other students kind of navigate their programs.
I think that's really key that it's peer tutoring because we have a lot of wonderful tutoring resources on campus, but to have somebody who is, right there in school right now and, maybe has just finished or a couple years ago finished the class that you're taking, really, I think makes a difference. So, and the tutoring center is a really nice space. I know you all had a grand opening this past semester. There's some new computers in there, and just knowing that you tutor so many different subjects, students may not think that there are these resources on our campus, but they are.
Yes, and we're new, so I know that some people may not know about us, but we're there, and so spread the word.
And I just wanted to touch on what is Northern doing in Santa Fe and the Higher Education Center.
So Northern does have a presence in Santa Fe. At the Higher Education Center, we offer classes for 3 of our bachelor's degree programs, and those programs are the Bachelor's of Business Administration and Project Management, Bachelor's of Integrated Studies with an emphasis in Psychology, and a Bachelor's of Engineering and Information Engineering Technology. So if you're a graduate from the Santa Fe Community College or any community college, if you have an associate's degree and you'd like to pursue your bachelor's degree, then Northern is a real option for you. So please contact us, and we have an academic advisor at the HEC in Santa Fe every day of the week. Her name is Louise Majory, and you can reach her at 505-474-5020.
And that's a wonderful resource because I know a lot of students who live in Santa Fe, maybe they finished their associate's degree at SFCC, but then we have our bachelor nursing program here at Northern and other bachelor programs, that you can continue your education here at Northern, wherever you started, and then take some of those classes there at the Higher Education Center. So I think that's really accessible for a lot of students in the area.
Yes, so if you need any more information about those programs, because you don't have to stop at an associate's degree, go on and pursue that 4-year degree. Like I said, reach out to Louise. Again, her number is 505-474-5020.
Wonderful. And is there anything that you would like to tell our listeners, maybe students who are thinking of transferring to a 4-year college or parents of those students about, what they should be thinking about?
Well, I just think that Northern is a really close-knit community. I think it's a really great place to pursue your 4-year degree. You get a lot of personal one-on-one attention, and I think just having been a college student from Northern New Mexico, that was really valuable to me when I was in college and helped me succeed.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Christy, with the CASSA Title V program at Northern New Mexico College. And again, if you want more information about that, you can look on our website or contact her via the information she just shared. And we can share that again on our Facebook page as well.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Well, it's that time. We have 2 prizes to give away. Our first prize will be a Northern Eagles drink cozy featuring a New Mexican pattern, plus a pack of tickets for any Eagles home game. The question is, give us your name and the date of the big event coming up at Northern that we talked about and the name of that event. The number to call is 753-8131. And again, the prize is a Northern Eagles drink cozy and a pack of tickets for any Eagles home game. 753-8131. The date and the name of the big upcoming event that we talked about on our show this morning. We're standing by to receive your calls. First caller with the right answer will get those prizes. And while we wait for our first caller, there are just some announcements. First of all, registration for spring semester is now open. Our spring class schedule is available online. You must apply and be admitted as a student before you can register. And classes start January 21st, 2020. Call 747-2111 and our helpful advisors can help you through the process. And Northern thanks the following partners for their generous gifts to the Northern Foundation President's Eagle Fund: Zia Credit Union, Century Bank, R&M Construction, State Employees Credit Union, Centera Los Alamos, and Sue Watts in memory of Walter G. Watts. The next home game for the Eagles will take place Friday, It will take place January 24th and 25th against Sagu College, so be sure to check that out. And the Lady Eagles will be back in February. And congratulations to the 152 students who made the Dean's List for the fall 2019 semester. These students completed a minimum of 12 graded credit hours and received a 3.5 GPA or better to earn this distinction. We don't have time to read all their names on air right now, but please check our Facebook, Instagram, and website homepage to see who is on the list and join us in celebrating their accomplishments. Okay, it looks like we might have a caller. Good morning. No, nobody there yet.
Yeah. Give the number again.
Okay. The number to call again for that trivia question, 753-8131. And the question is, what is the big event happening this coming week that we talked about this morning on our show? So again, 753-8131. If you were the caller that just called in, feel free to try that number one more time. Another announcement, Northern's literary journal Trickster is still accepting submissions for its upcoming issue on the theme of borders. Prose submissions should not exceed 5,000 words, and poetry submissions should be limited to 3 to 5 poems. Multiple submissions should be attached as one document. Okay, I think we see the light flashing again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Who's on the air with us?
What's that?
Who am I speaking with?
With Michael from Double O.
Hi, Michael. Do you have the answer for our question?
Is it Hispanic awards?
No, that's not the answer. We talked about this event on our Live at Northern show earlier today. I'll give you a hint. There's a big holiday coming up next week, and our event has to do with that holiday.
Martin Luther King.
That's right. And our Martin Luther King Day event is on Monday, January 20th, Martin Luther King Day, from 10 to about 1:45 at our Center for the Arts. And so I will take down your phone number here, and we'll have a pack of tickets waiting for you at our bookstore just because you called in. But if you could do me a favor and spread the word about our event, we'd really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye.
Okay, and since we are running a little short on time, we're going to go ahead and have our second trivia question on Facebook. So if you can name one of the services that our Title V CASSA program provides to students, just comment on our post on Facebook, our Live at Northern post with the answer, and the prize for that is another pack of tickets and a color-changing drink cup. Back to Northern's literary journal Trickster, now accepting submissions. The editors will read all submissions anonymously, but contributors will be recognized if selected and receive a free copy of the journal. Contributors should also include a 50-word bio. Please send submissions to Trickster at nnmc.edu prior to February 14th. And again, for our listeners, our Martin Luther King event takes place Monday, January 20th at the Center for the Arts on Northern's campus. The complimentary prayer breakfast starts at 10 a.m., and the main program starts at noon. This event is free and open to the public, is family-friendly, and will include exhibitors and community resources, entertainment by Moving Arts Española, a talk about Black history in New Mexico, and great opportunities to support our students and community members. If you can, we ask that you RSVP via our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Northern New Mexico College, or find us on Eventbrite and RSVP there. That's our show for today, but we'll be back on Wednesday, January 29th with more from your Northern New Mexico College. In the meantime, you can find more news and events from us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Northern NNMC, and visit our website at nnmc.edu. If you're interested in registering for the upcoming semester, the number to call is 747-2111. Thanks for listening, and we wish you all a happy and safe couple of weeks. Gracias.